Valentine's storm shifts. Are you ready? Weather update, American cities number 137. Let's get right to it because things are getting serious. We're tracking three major storm systems across the country, with one a monster Valentine's Day storm, just making a critical 50-mile westward shift that changes everything for the South. We're talking about a staggering 175 inches of snow aiming for the Sierras, a severe weather outbreak from Texas to Alabama, and a flood threat for Arkansas. Your weekend plans, and maybe even your safety, depend on the timing of this system. So don't skip the middle or the end of this. Right now, a classic clipper system is dusting New England, dropping down from Canada to blanket Vermont, New Hampshire, and Maine with some fresh powder. We're seeing snow rates of about an inch per hour. If you're in Boston, be ready for visibility to plummet this afternoon. It's nothing you haven't seen before, but it's enough to make the evening commute a serious headache. Expect slick roads and give yourself some extra time. By morning, most of the interior will have a solid 3 to 6 inches on the ground. Now, let's jump 3,000 miles west, where the story is completely different. The Sierra Nevada mountains are about to get absolutely buried. A stubborn low-pressure system off the California coast is acting like a fire hose, funneling a massive plume of moisture straight into the mountains. The latest models are in agreement, showing a mind-boggling 175 inches of snow for the highest peaks over the next 10 days. That's almost 15 feet of snow, with rates hitting a stunning 5 to 6 inches per hour at times. This is the kind of news the West has been desperately waiting for. After a winter where snowpack levels were running 30 to 40% below normal, this is a game-changer. The weakening La Niña is finally allowing the subtropical jet stream to wake up, sending this crucial moisture into California. It's a storm that could make a real dent in the drought, with hopes that reservoirs might actually see a significant recovery this spring. Utah and the Colorado Rockies are also getting in on the action with heavy snow. But it's storm number 2, the Valentine system, that you really need to watch. A powerful low is now organizing in the Pacific and will dive into the southern plains by Friday. That 50-mile westward jog in the latest forecast is the crucial part. It means the storm can pull in much more warm, moist air from the Gulf of Mexico. Think of that warm air as fuel for a fire, and this fire is about to get very big, very fast. The stage is being set for a weekend of dramatic and dangerous weather for millions of people. If you're in Dallas, you felt that 72-degree warmth yesterday. Get ready for a different world. By Saturday night, that warmth will be a memory, replaced by heavy rain and wind gusts that could top 50 miles per hour. That's how rapidly this system is intensifying and moving. The bullseye for the most dangerous weather, however, is setting up over East Texas and Louisiana. The Gulf of Mexico is wide open for business, feeding the storm the jet fuel it needs to spawn supercell thunderstorms on Saturday night. The threat is real. We're talking about a full menu of severe weather. Isolated tornadoes, destructive straight-line winds, and large, damaging hail are all on the table for Saturday night. Farther north, Arkansas is looking at being ground zero for the heaviest rainfall. Some locations could easily pick up 4 to 5 inches of rain before this is all over. The corridor from Oklahoma City through Little Rock and on to Memphis is where these storms could train, moving over the same areas for hours on end. When that training happens, flash flooding becomes an almost certainty. It's incredibly important to be weather aware in this zone. Stay away from any low-lying areas that are prone to flooding, and please never try to drive through a road that's covered in water. You don't know if the road is still there, and it only takes a small amount of moving water to sweep a vehicle away. Turn around, don't drown isn't just a slogan. It's a rule that could save your life this weekend. The risk is that serious. Now, here's the part that truly worries me, and it's what separates a bad storm from a deadly one. The peak of this severe weather for Louisiana, Mississippi, and Alabama is forecast to happen Saturday night into the very early hours of Sunday morning. This is the worst possible timing. Storms that strike overnight are notoriously dangerous because they catch people when they are asleep, unprotected, and unaware. More tornado-related fatalities happen at night than during the daytime for this exact reason. So I need you to listen carefully. If you live in these states, please take this seriously. Before you go to bed on Saturday night, make sure your cell phone is fully charged. Double-check that your emergency weather alerts are turned on and are loud enough to wake you up. Most importantly, know where your safe spot is before the storm arrives. Whether it's a basement, a storm shelter, or an interior room on the lowest floor, have a plan and be ready to act on it. This simple preparation saves lives. Let's talk timing for Sunday. Birmingham could be hearing the rumble of thunder around 4 or 5 in the morning. The line of storms will reach the Atlanta metro area closer to 10 a.m. By Sunday afternoon, the system will be pushing into the Carolinas, bringing stormy conditions to Charleston, Savannah, and Myrtle Beach. The Florida Panhandle and Central Florida are on the southern edge of this, but you still need to be on guard for strong afternoon thunderstorms on Sunday as the system's tail swings through. There's another twist. On the cold northern side of this storm, something interesting is happening. Cold air is trying to wrap around the back of the system, sliding down the spine of the Appalachian Mountains. For the high country of western North Carolina, around Boone and Blowing Rock, that means rain will likely change over to snow on Sunday. We're not talking about a blizzard, maybe 2 to 4 inches, but the timing is critical for anyone with travel plans through the mountains on Sunday afternoon. Be extremely careful. Temperatures will be hovering right around the freezing mark, 32 degrees. That's the absolute worst-case scenario for road safety. It's often not cold enough for road crews to effectively pre-treat the highways with salt, but it's just cold enough for any moisture on the pavement to turn into a treacherous sheet of ice. The mountains of West Virginia and Virginia are looking at a similar situation. Even I-40 west of Raleigh could get dicey, though the city itself will likely just see a cold, miserable rain. Now for the million-dollar question. Does this beast turn into a nor'easter as it hits the East Coast? The European model has been flirting with this idea, showing the low-pressure system strengthening as it tracks up toward the mid-Atlantic. But here's the catch: the previous model run had the storm kicking harmlessly out to sea. A tiny 50-mile difference in the storm's track is the difference between getting a foot of snow in some places and just seeing a cold drizzle. The margins are razor-thin right now. Let's break it down city by city for your Valentine's weekend. Dallas-Fort Worth, you're going from the 70s down into the 50s with thunderstorms and 50 miles per hour winds Saturday night. Move any outdoor plans indoors. Houston sees heavy rain Saturday but stays south of the main severe threat. Little Rock, you're in the crosshairs for flooding with 3 to 5 inches of rain. Memphis and Nashville, plan for a steady cold rain all day Sunday. The good news is that this rain is desperately needed in some of these drought-stricken areas. For those of you with Saturday night dinner reservations, here's the real talk. Early Saturday evening, across most of the southeast, you should be fine. The main line of storms won't arrive until later. But if you're planning a late-night stroll after your meal, you're going to get wet. You could easily walk into the restaurant under starry skies and walk out into a torrential downpour. Birmingham and Atlanta, your main threat arrives early Sunday morning. The good news for Atlanta is that it'll be during daylight hours. Meanwhile, the Northeast is catching a much-deserved break. New York City, Philly, D.C., and Boston are all looking at a quiet and unseasonably mild weekend, with temperatures running well above average for February. Enjoy it, because this pleasant pattern isn't going to last forever. And that brings me to the third storm, which is currently a swirling mass of energy brewing over the Aleutian Islands in Alaska. This is a much colder system, and it's poised to completely reshape the weather map for late February. The bitter cold that has been bottled up in Alaska and Western Canada all winter is finally going to break loose around the third week of the month. We're seeing strong signals that this Arctic air will plunge south, invading the northern plains and the Midwest. For places like Minnesota, Wisconsin, and Michigan that have been enjoying a mild winter, that's all about to change. When that frigid air inevitably collides with moisture streaming up from the Gulf, you have the classic ingredients for major winter storms. I'm already seeing signals that late February could bring a significant, high-impact winter storm to the Great Lakes or the Northeast. It is far too early for any specifics on timing or snow totals, but all the necessary ingredients are slowly coming together on the map. A fresh supply of cold air, an active storm track, and plenty of moisture. So if you're a snow lover who has been disappointed so far this winter, my message is simple: don't give up just yet. Winter might just have a grand finale in store for us. Finally, a quick recap and what you need to do. Storm 1 is bringing beneficial snow to the west and a clipper to New England. Storm 2 is the big one, a Valentine's weekend severe weather outbreak for the south, with the most dangerous period being overnight Saturday into Sunday for Louisiana, Mississippi, and Alabama. Please have your weather alerts on. Storm 3 is the wild card that could bring a return to real winter weather for the Midwest and Northeast in the last week of February. Stay safe.